for the free write, you'll see sort of discussion. You'll click discussion again so that you can come out of the free write forum, and you'll enter the next forum, which says connections and questions. In this forum, you're going to be doing a few things. You can be doing a few things. You don't have to do all of them. You will either be making connections between this earlier conversation about the free write and the reading. Perhaps you are telling us some of the main points that you got out of the reading, points of interest for you, things that you thought were interesting. This is also a space in which you are posing a question to the class. And making other connections between the reading and perhaps just your own sort of ideas. This conversation in the forum of connections and questions will take place between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, again, you will come out of that forum and you'll go on to the third forum. And the third forum, which is labeled main points, what you're going to do is sort of reflect over both of these conversations that you've had between the free write forum and the connections and questions forum. And you're going to pull out at least 3 main points that you took away from today's conversation, okay? And that will take place from 10 until 10:30. What you'll find is that there's going to be a lot of different conversations going on at once, and that's fine. That's okay. That's good. We want that to sort of happen. And after our sort of, discussion, what I will do is sort of look at each of your posts about the main points and sort of do a filtering and see exactly which ones match my main points. Then what I'll do is I will post a PowerPoint that will be made available on Blackboard under course information, in which you can receive the notes for that day. And the notes will also sort of serve as my lecture, if you will. If you notice, we're starting, it's very sort of discussion centered. I'm not starting out with a lecture. We're starting out with your intelligence first. And that structure comes out of my teaching philosophy around discussion and the power of discussion. One of my favorite quotes that I think embodies education is out in Germantown, and it says, it's on a mural, and it says, "Tell me, I will forget. Show me, I will remember. Involve me, and I will understand." And so the discussion board is really sort of about involving you. What I like for you to do is actually go to the second page of your syllabus, looking at that first paragraph if you haven't done so already. And I like to just sort of read that verbatim to you. "What makes this classroom work so well is the culture that I seek to create with you as students. It is my belief that this space is a partnership that can only work if you as a student understand your role as a partner in this collaborative educational experience. Your attendance is required not simply for you to do well academically, but is required in order for this partnership to be meaningful for everyone enrolled. Your participation in class is a valued and necessary contribution to the education of your peers as well as myself. The dialogue that I facilitate in class or online is the most important aspect of the classroom, and I will be consistently observing the risks you take and the development you make. The one rule of the class culture is the same principle that this partnership is founded upon: respect. And I say respect because in order for discussion to be the most educational, it requires a level of honesty that for some of us might seem a personal risk. because oftentimes, especially since we haven't necessarily met each other personally, it can be intimidating to sort of put your ideas out there with strangers. And I want to make sure that on this space that we're sort of very sensitive to making this space a safe one for everyone. And in order for it to be safe, we sort of have to be mindful of the power of honesty, the power of being confident, especially for my future teachers who are taking this class. You can't teach your students confidence by saying be confident. You yourself have to be confident first and just embody that. But it's also the idea that I don't want folks to think that safe space means you can say anything you want, or that disrespectful language is allowed either, because then the space doesn't become safe anymore. So if for some reason you feel sort of uncomfortable saying something, say it. Say you sort of feel uncomfortable, not quite sure if this sounds right, but go ahead anyway. This class is about sort of taking risks, especially when we get to the section on identity politics, which is personal because identity is personal. And oftentimes I find that undergraduate students haven't had a lot of conversations around race, around gender, around sexuality. And so what that means is that your vocabulary already is sort of very limited, which makes you oftentimes feel like you're walking on eggshells. I think that's natural. But the only sort of way to sort of learn from that space is to put yourself out there. And really be okay with being wrong, right? And perhaps you might be wrong, and perhaps you might say something that does sort of come off as disrespectful. That happens too. That's the power of sort of the online community and letting you know when that might actually be the case. The challenge is listening and really sort of hearing that to better understand the situation that you're talking about, but also to broaden your vocabulary as well and make yourself smarter. The next section of which is sort of right below discussion board and participation. Oh, one last thing on discussion board and participation. As you'll see, it's 30% of the grade. And so sort of how that pans out is that you're required to participate at least 3 times per online session. Just a reminder that online sessions take place between on Mondays and on Wednesdays between 9 and 10:30. And so you should be contributing at least 3 times. That doesn't mean that once you hit your 3-point mark, oh, you don't have to participate anymore. You definitely should participate. Get your money's worth. You get a lot for this course, so you really will do so the more you participate. The synopsis will be due before each online section. So you should be emailing me a synopsis before Monday at 9 o'clock and before Wednesday at 9 o'clock. The synopsis, again, if you're sort of reading that section right there, is a brief summary of what you've read. Sometimes you will find, like for Wednesday, you have 2 readings. Wednesday, again, which is tomorrow, you have chapter 5, which is due, as well as the 7 Mountains article, which is due. You are not sort of called to or asked to write every single point that is made in the article. The synopsis is only 2 pages. And so you're really going to want to be concise in your thinking and your writing about what you think the main points are. Okay? Because again, it's only 2 pages. I'd encourage you to, as you're sort of reading through the chapter and the article, again, look back at those questions on the very first page of the syllabus. I have 2 additional questions under the synopsis section for you to